If you're over 50 and walking every day to stay healthy, I'm going to tell you something most people won't. Walking on its own is not enough to keep you strong as you get older. In fact, you can be walking every single day and still slowly be getting weaker every single year. Now, I completely understand why walking is the go-to for so many people, right? It's easy, it feels good, it's low impact, the doctors recommend it, so it feels like it's the natural right step and that you're doing the right thing. And to be honest, you definitely are, but up until a certain point. I've worked with loads of people in their 50s, 60s and beyond, and almost all of them always start in the same place, right? They start with walking because it feels like it's enough. But over time, they all realize the same thing. It's not enough and it can't be, because if walking only covers a small part of what your body actually needs as it gets older, then there's something missing. And if you think about it, right, walking is basically the same movement over and over again. It's a forward motion, it's the same pace, same pattern, and the same muscles that you're using. So the body gets very good at it. But that's the actual problem, right? It gets efficient, but it doesn't get more capable. Your body's always looking for the easiest way to do things. So if you repeat the same movement over and over again, it just gets easier. And eventually it stops adapting altogether. And this is the point that most people miss, right? If nothing challenges your body, then nothing actually changes your body either. And so walking doesn't really challenge it. There's no resistance, there's no real load. So your body has no reason to stay strong long term. And that's where muscle loss comes in, right? After 50, your body naturally starts to lose muscle faster. It's just what happens, but here's the part that most people don't realize. Walking itself does almost nothing to slow that down. Walking's great for your heart and your lungs, of course, but it does very little in the way of maintaining your muscle or bone strength. Let me try to say that a different way. You don't lose muscle because you age faster because you lose muscle. And so if you're not actively doing something to maintain it, your body is going to get weaker every single year. Walking also only trains you to move in a straight line, right? It's a controlled, predictable way, but real life doesn't work like that. We all know that, right? Real life is things like turning, twisting, stepping sideways, catching yourself, changing direction, getting up and down off the floor, balancing on one leg. That's where people get caught out. And when people start to decline, it's rarely their walking that goes first. It's always their strength, their mobility, and their balance. You don't fall because you can't walk. You fall because you can't react or support yourself when you land. Think about when injuries actually happen, right? It's never mid-walk. It's when you move awkwardly, right? You reach for something, you trip slightly, you lose balance for a second. That's a strength and control issue, not a cardio issue. And this one might surprise you too, but too much walking with no strength work combined alongside it, it can actually contribute to even more muscle loss over time. So you can end up in a situation where you're getting fitter from a cardio perspective, but you're basically getting weaker at the same time, right? You see this in marathon runners all the time. Loads of stamina, loads of aerobic work, but it's at the cost of their muscle and their strength. Now for them, that's completely fine, obviously, because it's their sport, but for someone that just wants to stay capable and independent long term, that's not a trade-off you want to be making with your strength. I always see this every single year when I go home to visit my parents in Northern Ireland at Christmas, right? They're still active, they love walking, but they still look a wee bit more frail every year. And I'm always telling them, look, it's happening not because it's a loss of fitness, it's happening because it's a loss of muscle mass and bone density, right? It's a loss of strength. And that's what I really want them to understand, because that's the thing that quietly changes everything, right? That's the thing that changes their quality of life. And this is the key thing that I want you to take away from today's video, is that walking isn't bad. I actually want you to walk, right? But it's just incomplete. It keeps you moving, but it doesn't keep you strong, stable, and capable on your own. Now you're probably thinking, all right, Robert, hang on a wee second. Well, what am I actually meant to do now then? Well, I don't want you to stop walking, so please keep doing that, but I do want you to build around it, right? Walking already covers low-level cardio, so that's that box ticked. Now what I want you to do is fill in what's missing, right? And the biggest thing that's missing is strength training. So even just 1 to 2 hours a week, full body, some resistance or body weight work, all from home, single leg, some control, some mobility and stability stretch, and that's what's going to keep you strong and mobile. That's the stuff that protects your joints, and it's what maintains your independence as you get older. You don't build that with steps, right? You build that with strength work. Mobility is also really important because it's not just about how far you can walk, but can you also bend, twist, reach, get up and down from the floor easily? That's what actually keeps your body feeling free and not restricted. So even a small amount of mobility work alongside your strength work is going to make a huge difference. And then even with walking, for everybody that does love walking, also change it up a wee bit, right? Mix the intensity up, walk faster for short bursts, do some hill walking, push the pace a bit, then bring it back and recover like a little interval fashion. This is what's going to train all aspects of your cardiovascular system and kind of push your heart rate up and down. So just remember, right, life doesn't test you in a straight line, and the body you build in your 50s and 60s is the one you're going to be living in your 80s. So yes, walk, but please don't stop there. Every Sunday I bring you one more piece of this puzzle, right? It's simple, practical, no nonsense advice. And so if that's what you've been looking for, please hit subscribe below, and I'm going to see you next Sunday. And if you think this video reminds you of someone that needs to hear it, please share it with them too, because it might be the most useful thing that they hear all week. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your walking this week, but also enjoy your strength and mobility training, and I will see you next week.